So, Father of the Year, Prince Harry, decided to go to Las Vegas rather than spend Prince Archie's 6th birthday with him. Then we learn that the man who claims it is too dangerous to even set foot into the United Kingdom, even though he could stay at Buckingham Palace surrounded by royal security, decided that it was wise to post a picture of Prince Archie in his pajamas on his 6th birthday from Mexico. Mexico, by the way, being a country where there is a US government warning against travel. So it has been revealed that the Duke and Duchess of Delusion stayed at a 30,000-acre Mexican retreat. This is where this highly manipulated and photoshopped picture of Archie was posted. The Mail Online reveal that the king's grandson was in fact looking out to sea from the spectacular Kumala estate in Jalisco at the £5,000 a night Casa La Playa villa. The US State Department has a travel advisory in place to Americans to reconsider travel to Jalisco due to violent crime, gang activity, and kidnapping in the state. Of course, Meghan captioned that picture, our son, S-O-N, our son, happy 6th birthday to Archie. She, for once, didn't describe him as Prince Archie. So this is all utterly insane because we now have Prince Harry quite happily going to the most dangerous places in the world. Colombia. Dangerous parts of Africa. The Ukraine border. And now a Mexican state where kidnappings are rife, yet he has decided to go to war with his cancer-stricken father because he believes the United Kingdom is too dangerous. Well, we're going to get into all of this today with the brilliant Link Lauren, host, and I'm very excited about this, Link, of the new Megyn Kelly podcast, Spot On, with Link Lauren. Your studio looks beautiful, and I know we're going to be talking about it later. I'm very, very excited for the launch of your new show. But Link, this is insanity, isn't it? Insane that he goes on the BBC. He says his family actually are putting his life at risk, almost suggesting that Charles or William want him dead because they will not provide him with full-time state-sanctioned paid-for security when he sets foot in the United Kingdom. But any other war-torn nation, he's there.
Prince Harry, the man who swears the UK is too dangerous to even set foot in, has no problem taking little Archie to a Mexican kidnap zone for his birthday. You heard that right. The US government has issued a warning for violent crime and kidnapping in Jalisco, Mexico, but that's where Harry and Meghan thought it was a great idea to spend Archie's birthday. But Buckingham Palace with top-tier security? Nope, too dangerous. Make it make sense. Dan Wootton nails it. Harry and Meghan aren't just out of touch. They're in another galaxy. They're out here preaching about security risks while taking their kid to a literal crime zone for a photo shoot. And the best part? Meghan photoshopped the image of Archie to make it look more serene and Instagram-friendly.
Thank you. As for the Duke and Duchess of Scam-A-Lot, I'm not shocked by this because these people are hypocrites. Like most celebrities, it's always do as I say, not as I do. But what I thought when I saw the picture of Archie was, it just looks sad to me. Whenever they post these pictures of the kids from the back, it always just seems sad and lonely. And I think two things. Number one, the kids have cousins just across the pond, right? The kids have cousins who are very close in age to them. George, Charlotte, Louis. They have aunts and uncles, William, Catherine. I'm sure they're hanging out with Eugenie. I think Jack and Eugenie come to visit them often in Montecito, but it almost feels like a form of abuse when the kids have to pay the price for the adults' drama and the adults' issues. You know, it'd be nice for these kids to get to know their cousins, and then the kids are also getting to an age where they're going to start asking about where they stand in the world, right? Why is our family so small? Why don't we have cousins to play with? You know, the kids at school said we're royalty or that we're this, or we ran away from the royal family, mommy and daddy. Is that true? And so it just makes me sad. It's almost like a Gypsy Rose Blanchard thing where these kids are sort of kept in these very controlled environments and you don't actually know what's going on. I think the kids would like to meet their cousins and not always be in these sad, lonely pictures taken from the back.
It was interesting, actually, Link. I was listening to Maureen Callahan, who I know also now has a podcast in the MK
It's
network.
the Blontourage.
Yeah, exactly.
The Blonde Squad.
And you're all brilliant. I love it. And she was making the point that it's very likely that when they grow up, Harry and Meghan's kids will just say, to hell with you. We don't want anything to do with you because you took away our birthright from us. You took away the opportunity for us to be part of history. You took away the opportunity for us to spend time with the greatest monarch in British history in Queen Elizabeth II. You took away the opportunity for us to spend time with King Charles. You made all of these false claims against my family. I mean, look, it can go two ways, right? But what we often see, Link, don't we, is when you have very, very woke parents, and you are obviously closer to this new Zoomer generation,
right?
Often there's a reaction against that. So, of course, Harry and Meghan hope that they're raising Archie and Lily to be little woke-topians. But at some point, they might actually feel like this was a very weird childhood.
No, absolutely. I mean, if I found out when I turned 18, like Princess Diaries, that I was somehow royalty, especially part of the British royal family, I would be so pissed and livid. You know, when these kids find out they're royalty, they're like, well, why are we over here in Montecito on the compound, like picking roses? Why am I not over in the castle eating crumpets and scones with my cousins? I would be so mad if I was stuck in the house with these two little huckster parents and the reality show, and she's selling jams, jellies, and dog biscuits. I would have been like, Mom, let's go back. What are we doing here? I would be so upset if I were these kids. And yeah, of course they're living in woke Hollywood. I mean, look at Meghan Markle. She considers Oprah one of her good friends. I feel like that's very much a one-way street these days. But Oprah could not be more woke. I mean, on the night of November 5th, our big election was November 5th. On the night of November 4th, Oprah went out there in front of 1 million people and said, this could be our last election ever. America's going to come to an end if Trump gets back in the White House. That's one of Meghan Markle's best girlfriends, you know, when Gayle King was going up in that Blue Origin Jeff Bezos thing. So I'm sure these kids are growing up woke. I don't know what kind of school they go to. I imagine they're in some sort of celebrity pod with famous rich kids. But the one thing I'll say about Santa Barbara and Montecito, there are a ton of people who are right of center, conservative, Republicans, you know, you have the Reagan Ranch, you know, all of that. So I wouldn't be shocked if these kids do a 180 and rebel against their woke parents who are always preaching about mental health and then inflicting chaos and drama onto others.
Are we serious right now? Let's talk about this Mexican retreat. The 5,000 pounds a night Costella Player Villa. Yeah, it's stunning, no question. But here's the kicker. It's located in a state where kidnappings and gang activity are rampant. So while Meghan's busy curating the perfect Instagram aesthetic and captioning the photo, "Our son," she's literally putting that son at risk. But of course she doesn't call him Prince Archie this time. Just, "Our son." What happened to all that title obsession, Meghan? Meghan was desperate to make Archie a prince, but now when they're playing the "we're just like you" card, it's "our son." Convenient, isn't it?
Well, indeed, although I think Oprah Winfrey now is like, can you please just stop talking about me, Meghan? Because it's every podcast. Every time Confessions of a Female Founder comes up, Meghan's like, Oprah's my mentor. And I think even Oprah is so embarrassed with that connection because she knows that Meghan exposed her not as a journalist, but as a propagandist in that interview where she fed her a whole load of lies, didn't ask any follow-up questions, and now Prince Harry has backed away from it, saying, oh no, we never said that. But look, can we speak about Prince Harry? Because he has been in Vegas overnight. Now, this was a very bizarre decision for me, Link Lauren, because when you look at Prince Harry's history with Las Vegas, it wasn't a happy one. Okay, fine, he's got a suit on there, but who knows what was going on overnight, because this is what Prince Harry did previously in Vegas. The naked billiards and all of that. That was a very different phase of his life, of course. But don't you find it weird that Harry and Meghan are constantly talking about what hands-on parents they are, how they never leave the children alone, but he's made a choice again to spend the birthday away from Archie to go and be on a panel in Vegas that apparently he had a choice of 3 days to sit on?
Well, the one thing about Harry and Meghan is they always say they're such hands-on parents, but then remember Meghan went on Drew Barrymore's show and she's like, I always FaceTime the kids and whoever's with them puts me on so I can read to them at night. If that is hands-on parenting, the real parents in our country and in your country and across the world, they are stressed. They are working. They're trying to get a meal on the table and just get those kids in bed. Meghan's like, I FaceTimed one of my staff to put me on with the kids while I'm here in New York working. So I question how hands-on they actually are. But then again, I'm not a parent, so I won't judge too hard on that.
I'll judge, Link. I'm not a parent either.
Yes, we'll judge.
But I promise you,
we're judging.
They are the least hands-on parents. I've actually done loads of reporting on this over the years because in the first 6 weeks, this is often forgotten, Link, I find it hilarious. In the first 6 weeks, they went through 3 nannies because, of course, none of the nannies were up to the standard. And Meghan's constantly talking about, how busy she is before school. But then, did you see she admitted, but then the nanny drops the children at school. So this idea that they are these hands-on parents, Meghan's idea of being a hands-on parent seems to be writing an email to her hapless children that they're going to open up when they're 16 years old saying, Mummy loved me very much. But look, I've got to talk you through what Prince Harry said on stage at this Diana Awards because I need to understand, Link, if you can understand him. To me, this feels like absolute woke mumbo jumbo from a guy who does not know what he's talking about, who has no message and is clearly under pressure. But let me take you through it and let's see if we can decode this together. By the way, there were no cameras, no video cameras in the event, which I think was probably wise after the BBC interview. But the quotes have been released by Archie. So he said, through the Diana Award, I've had the privilege of meeting young people who have turned adversity into action. That's not just inspiring, it's the kind of untapped potential we can't afford to overlook. Far too many young people are locked out of leadership pipelines because we've failed to build truly inclusive and accessible pathways. This generation isn't waiting for permission to lead, they are already doing it. They bring emotional intelligence, social awareness, and an honesty about mental health that previous generations struggled to express. What sets them apart isn't just their boldness, but their refusal to settle for the status quo. If we're serious about a better future, we need to stop underestimating them and start listening.
Meanwhile, Prince Harry's out here acting like he's some kind of war hero going to Colombia, Africa, Ukraine, all these dangerous places. But the UK is too risky? Give me a break. Link Lauren is not holding back, and I love it. He straight up calls them the Duke and Duchess of Scamelot. And honestly, that's exactly what they're doing. They're running a scam, pretending to be under threat while putting their own kid in the middle of a literal crime zone. Meanwhile, Harry's back on his pity tour, claiming the royal family wants him dead. Are you serious, Harry? Maybe they're just tired of your hypocrisy, like the rest of us.
And then speaking directly to his fellow panellists, Sakanda Sunny Khan and Christina Williams, the Duke added, we're in an era now where we are looking for more companies to be serving the greater good, the majority, not the minority. Every single young person has potential. It's just about unlocking that to those individuals. And through the Diana Award, we can join those dots and make that connection. From a younger generation standpoint, in an apathetic world, there's more empathy in this generation than I've ever seen before. And I've spent most of my years spending as much time as I can with young people. It's the empathy, the authenticity, the truth, the honesty, and the fearlessness as well, when they stand up for themselves and stand up in their communities. And that is what we need. We need fearless leadership. So I tip my hat to both of you and what you represent. So firstly, Link, can you understand that at all? Do you know what he's talking about? And secondly, isn't it pretty dangerous for a member of the absolute minority, a royal family where you receive everything through your birthright, including your tens of millions of dollars fortune, to be talking about this type of egalitarian utopia?
Well, this is just a bunch of California gobbledygook. I mean, this is not who Prince Harry ever was. The last time Prince Harry was in Vegas, he was playing strip poker. Can we have that Harry back? I want naked Harry stripping and running through the Bellagio Hotel. That I would love to see. But now we have PW Harry, who's been, totally emasculated by Meghan Markle. He's totally a different person. He's taking his mushrooms and psychedelics, allegedly, you know, like they do in Southern California. So Prince Harry,
And a
this is
lot more
really
than
just a
that, I
bunch
think,
of
Link.
yeah, no, and a lot more than that. And honey, if you were living in the house with Meghan and the kids and Doria, you'd be popping
Give
whatever
me
you could
those
get your hands on.
mushrooms. Give me those
Please.
mushrooms. Anything to
Exactly,
take me
exactly.
away.
Just to get down the aisle. I mean, when you see Megan with no makeup, pop another mushroom. But yeah, no, I I miss the old Harry who would go to Vegas and party. And to circle back to what you said earlier, the fact that his kids are so young and he's missed that many birthdays is bizarre to me, right? It would be rare as a kid if my mom ever missed my birthday. I have pictures from every single birthday of me with my mom, so I don't understand why he's missing all these birthdays. And then what I'll also say about Prince Harry is it's his prerogative if he wants to give out the Diana Award, right? He's welcome to give out the Diana Award. That's his mother. But Prince Harry says all the time, my mom would be so proud of Meghan and I. She would be so proud of that fact that we left the royal family and the life we've built in California. Princess Diana would not be proud and happy for what Harry and Meghan are doing right now, right? Even when she divorced Charles and there was the chaos and the drama, she had such reverence for the royal family, for the institution. I mean, she got married at 19. These are her people. This is her commonwealth. This is all she knew. So this narrative that Prince Harry tells himself to feel better, oh, mommy would be so proud of the life we've built and that we fled and put ourselves first. Princess Diana, if she saw Meghan Markle coming in that burlap sack, wrinkled outfit she wore, Princess Diana would have vomited, okay? This notion that Princess Diana would have loved Meghan Markle, no, you left the royal family to go hawk jams, jellies, and dog biscuits. Princess Diana was royalty, okay? She would not be happy for any of this crap. So you're welcome to give out an award with her namesake, but to say that your mom would be happy for you is absolutely bonkers.
Oh, she would be disgusted.
It's classic Meghan and Harry, lecturing the world about climate change while flying private jets, screaming about security risks while taking Archie to a dangerous Mexican resort, demanding privacy while selling every royal secret they know. It's not just hypocritical, it's manipulative and reckless. And the public reaction? Absolutely brutal. People are saying exactly what we're all thinking. If Harry and Meghan are so worried about security, why are they taking their kid to a region where kidnappings are on the rise? And let's be real. If something happened to Archie, would Harry be blaming the royal family again? Would he be running back to King Charles for protection? Because that seems to be the pattern here. Create a mess, cry victim, cash in on the chaos. If this doesn't open people's eyes to the double standards and manipulation, I don't know what will.
And actually, if you listen
Totally.
to people who were close to Princess Diana over that period, none of them say that she would agree with how Harry was acting. I mean, they do say that she would have stepped in and she wouldn't have allowed it to get to this point, and that she wouldn't have been at war with Meghan Markle, but she would have been disgusted with the way that he threw his own brother under the bus. And you are completely right to point out, because I think a lot of people mistake this. You're completely right to point out, Link, that Diana was always such a big supporter of the institution of monarchy. Her view, and remember, it wasn't a particularly wild view, shall I say, back in the 90s, was that the throne should simply pass directly from Queen Elizabeth II to Prince William. Now, given we know that the Queen, late Queen, lived a long life, that would have been absolutely fine. And Charles could have gone off. In Diana's view, it was like, go off, be with Camilla. That's your focus. And actually, I hate to say it, Link, because, you know, the king is suffering very ill health at the moment. And so I am sympathetic to that. But it wouldn't have been a bad thing to the monarchy for the throne to pass directly from the late Queen Elizabeth II to William. And that's what Diana wanted.
Totally. And I will say also, though, I get what you're saying, you know, skipping Charles, but at the end of the day, I love King Charles, you know, and I feel like King Charles actually, when he was Prince Charles, had such great ideas of ways to modernize the monarchy and to reach out to minorities and bring different people in and make them feel included. But he just didn't really have the power or the ability to do so, right? He was sort of waiting in the wings, waiting for Godot in a way. And so I do like Charles. I think if he had gotten in when he was younger, maybe he could have made more of a mark. Unfortunately, now he's in poor health. But no, Princess Diana would not be happy that Meghan Markle came came in like a wrecking ball and torched the relationship between William and Harry. Of course, Harry is still culpable. He's a grown-ass man, right? You allowed this woman, this Hollywood washed-up actress, to come in and tear your family apart and abscond with you to the United States. But no, Princess Diana would not be happy in the slightest, Stan.
Now, Link, it is sad when you look at the state Harry is in at the moment.
Right.
It's not a good state. I want to show you, actually, I think it's Paula M, who's a great royal YouTuber, actually juxtaposed Harry devastated on the BBC with Meghan saying, "Oh, I'm the happiest I've ever been. Look at this."
Let's look.
But I think confession for you today that I could very comfortably say is I'm the happiest that I've ever been.
Yeah, no, I'm devastated. I would love reconciliation with my family. There's no point in continuing to fight.
I mean, Link, it is so stark. And there's been some new reporting from Radar Online. And again, even though I have zero sympathy for Harry, I really don't. When I say this is sad, I mean it's pathetic. So their reporting is that, let me take you through it. They say, while King Charles, Queen Camilla, Prince William and Kate Middleton, as well as their 3 children, stood united on the Buckingham Palace balcony for the VE Day celebration, royal exile Prince Harry was said to be intently watching the spectacle unfold from thousands of miles away. Sources said Harry, who gave up his royal duties to move to California in 2020, was glued to coverage of his family, watching and re-watching clips of their picture-perfect appearance during the 80th anniversary of Victory in Europe Day. And they go on to say that in lonely Montecito, California, well-placed sources said Harry was fixated on consuming as much coverage as possible. One palace insider revealed he watches every second. Balcony appearances, viral clips, even Prince Louis' silly faces. He can't help himself. He may say he's moved on, but he's still obsessed with what he leaves behind. And that is completely correct in my view, Link. I mean, I don't know specifically about VA Day, but I do know in the past that Harry is one of those guys who just doom scrolls and he gets angrier and angrier and angrier. Yeah. And he has fake accounts on X and he has fake accounts on Instagram. So he consumes all of this. But there's something quite pathetic about that, isn't there? It's like you could have been there if you'd made different choices.
Harry can play the victim all he wants, but he's the one putting his own child in danger. All for a photo shoot and a social media post. Unbelievable. Dan Wootton is right. Harry and Meghan are running out of options. The Netflix deals are drying up, the Spotify podcast flopped, and their public support is plummeting. So what's next? More shocking stunts to stay relevant? More photo shoots in crime zones to get those sympathy clicks? And what happens when Archie gets old enough to realize he was used as a pawn in their PR game? That's the real tragedy here.
No, absolutely. And if Prince Harry is watching us now, hi, Harry. How are you doing? If you're watching us, thank you for the views. Please leave a comment. If you're on a burner account, you're welcome, Harry. But no, Prince Harry only has himself to blame. And then to go on television and talk about reconciliation, you're the one who turned around and shanked your family. They're all over there hunky-doring. The machine is still going. They're doing their engagements. They're doing the things they've been doing for 1,000,000 years. Prince Harry, you're the one who decided to leave, do a tell-all book. Tell-all with Oprah, another tell-all interview. Then he did a Netflix docuseries. Now you have another show. You're the one who decided to leave, so you can only blame yourself. Don't cry over spilled milk, Harry, that you're not there in the royal family.
Indeed. And there's also brilliant reporting from the Daily Beast. They've got this great guy called Tom Sykes, who is their European editor at large, but he's incredibly tapped in with the royal family. And look at this headline: shopping block. Prince William plans to exact vengeance on vile Harry and Meghan as king. And he reports the prince has plans to draw a definitive line under the Sussex saga as soon as he has the authority to do so. So he writes, Prince William will act immediately to strip Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their His Her Royal Highness titles once he becomes king. according to sources close to the Prince of Wales who spoke to the Daily Beast. One friend said Harry and Meghan's behaviour has been absolutely vile. They added that Harry's unhinged BBC interview made it clear he has no interest in reconciling. If he did, a period of silence would have been the right thing to do. The HRHs will go, the friend said. Although such a dramatic move by William has reportedly been under consideration for some time, a former courtier said it had gained renewed urgency following Harry's Friday interview, which left the royal family stunned and frustrated. And this is very much in line with my reporting, Link, which is that sources close to William have said on this idea of a reconciliation over my dead body.
Absolutely. Why would they be reconciling with him? If he comes back and expresses contrition, maybe in a few years, if he leaves Meghan Markle and says, you know what, I was just hypnotized, I don't know what happened. If he comes back, I think there are many people in the UK who would accept him. You know, he's Diana's son, he's got some issues. Let's welcome Harry back into the fold. But we've yet to see any culpability from Harry. And my thing is this, if you go on Oprah and accuse your family of racism and driving your wife to suicide and all of these things with no evidence, how can you now come back and say you want to reconcile, Dan? It's a bunch of baloney, malarkey, and tomfoolery. So Prince William should absolutely strip them of their titles. I will also say you guys haven't been in the royal family for years, so why do you even need these titles? You left in 2020.
A kid caught in the middle of two parents desperate for attention and cash. Lauren nails it. Meghan and Harry are running out of time. They've burned every bridge, lost every ally, and now they're dragging their own kid into the chaos. At this point, the only thing left to crash and burn is their own brand, and it's happening faster than they realize.
Very well said. Very well said.
And I apologize, my earpiece does not want to cooperate.
No, that's fine. We'll get it sorted in a moment. But Piers Morgan, he went one step further than me in terms of his language. And by the way, Link, it's worth pointing out, Piers Morgan, he's close to Queen Camilla, and he's close to Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie. Yeah, so I'm just putting that out there before we hear what he had to say about this.
The Princess of Wales and the Duchess of Sussex are attempting to reconcile. The brothers are attempting to reconcile
absolutely
Harry
untrue.
with the father.
I don't, absolutely untrue.
I really hope that what I've
I'm told
read...
Prince William would literally rather shoot himself.
Honestly, I hope that what I've read is true because it's important.
No,
you are seeing a decline in the status of the monarchy.
Because
Together is stronger. Together is stronger.
So Prince William would rather shoot himself than reconcile with Prince Harry. And Piers has been very clear that that comes from the highest royal source.
Well, I think it's also been so many years. I mean, William and Harry have seen each other, 2 or 3 times in the last 5 years? For Prince William, his life moved on. Prince William is raising kids. His wife, Catherine, had cancer. They have a lot going on in their household. They're running a business. They're doing a gazillion engagements. Prince Harry, I'm sure they wish him well, but he's over in another country, on another continent. That is not their problem, right? People's lives go on. I think Prince Harry is the one sitting around every day. You know, I mean, sure, he's in therapy. He's taking his mushrooms, he's talking about his feelings, you know, he's doing interviews. That is what Prince Harry is doing. Everyone else moved on and continued working, but because he's so self-obsessed and such a narcissist, and he's also in a relationship with a malignant narcissist, Prince Harry is sitting and toiling over his relationship with his family. I'm here to tell you, I don't think Prince William is crying over the loss of Prince Harry. You know, don't cry for me, Argentina. I think Prince Harry also brought chaos and drama at times. They loved Harry, but let's be honest, he brought some bad press. He wasn't the easiest to work with. He seemed like he had some mood swings. I think in a way, William is like, you know what? I'm getting ready to be king. I'm taking care of my wife. I'm raising my kids in the public eye. I don't have time to deal with my little brother's neuroses and chaos.
Yeah, he's done. He is completely done. Very well put, by the way.
All right, folks, that's the full breakdown of Harry and Meghan's latest PR disaster. Risking Archie's life in a dangerous Mexican resort while crying about UK security. If you think they've gone too far this time, hit that like button, subscribe for more raw, unfiltered commentary, and drop a comment below. Are Harry and Meghan exploiting Archie for attention? Or are they just completely out of touch? Let me know what you think.